I've been trying to keep my makeup collection pared down to the products that I use regularly and genuinely love to use. And the drugstore makeup that I'll be testing today hasn't quite won me over just yet. I don't hate any of these products outright, I just haven't been really wowed by them. They have potential, which is why they've stuck around this long, but today is their last shot to earn their place in my collection. So we'll get straight into it, but first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Miranda. Welcome to my channel where we talk all things budget beauty. If that sounds interesting to you, then become the newest member of the Slashed Squad by hitting subscribe and the bell icon. The first drugstore product earning its keep today is the Milani Weekend Brow Pen. So these kinds of brow products were really popular last summer, and then I kind of stopped seeing brands release them, but they're kind of like brow eyeliners. They're a liquid brow formula. This one does have a felt tip, and it's supposed to give you sort of this microbladed look. You're drawing on each brow hair individually. My thing with products like these, and particularly this one, was that I felt like I was spending a lot of time on my brows and they weren't necessarily looking good. Like the payoff wasn't worth the effort. So basically just starting in the front, I also found it a little bit difficult with products like these to kind of fade or blend the application because I don't want the fronts of my brows to look super dark, but just a lot of product comes out at once. There was maybe like 2 times I did this and I actually liked how it looked. Like, what am I supposed to do right here where I barely have any hair? It just kind of looks like a marker. Maybe I'm just not good at this. Like, that's also totally a possibility. This could just be a product that's not meant for me and my skill set. I already feel like I'm spending so much time on this brow and it's looking crazy. Okay, this brow's not looking too bad. I just think it's really easy to go overboard with this. This isn't a knock on this particular product. I just think the product type isn't for me. Okay, so I'm going to do my brows with something else and then I'll be back for the next product. Ah, that is much better. I just used the BH Cosmetics Brow Duos, which I believe have been discontinued. I'm actually incredibly upset about it. I could not find them on the website recently. Okay, moving on, I'm going to quickly prime my eyes with my CoverGirl Lid Lockup Primer because we are gonna be putting an eyeshadow palette to the test that I sort of have a love-hate relationship with. Some days I get gorgeous looks out of it, and other days I just cannot get it to work for me. I'm talking about the Milani Gilded Jewel Palette. So I have not seen this in stores recently, though you can still get it on the Milani website for $19.99. First of all, where does Milani get off charging $20 for this small of a palette? I swear some of these drugstore brands are really testing us. Although I guess I shouldn't talk because like those Revlon palettes that I've been really liking for a while, the teeny tiny ones are $10. I just think in general, we should expect drugstore makeup prices to be rising. Anyway, so this I got summer 2020 when it was new, which again is why it's surprising that this is already not sold in stores anymore. I was really attracted to the greens and blues in this palette, but I felt like the inclusion of these neutrals really makes it a wearable palette. You don't necessarily have to go bold and colorful with it. However, that kind of leads me into the problem that I have with this palette, where the neutrals perform really, really beautifully. The bolder colors are where things sort of get dicey. I'm gonna go into Princess Cut, which is just a bone shade, and I'm gonna set my eyeshadow primer. The biggest issue that I have with the jewel tone shades is that they don't quite apply true to pan in terms of the shade, but then also as you blend them out, they really change in tone and some of them get muddy. I am going to use Garnet, which is this sort of medium purple, and I'm just gonna apply that lightly above my crease. It's also a pretty messy palette as well. Like the shadows are soft, everything just gets a little bit messy. Going into the dark blue called Bijou, that's going to be my crease shade. I am a little nervous about this. Hopefully we can get this to look as rich as it does in the pan, because is that not just a beautiful navy? I am gonna try packing it on to get the most pigment in one spot, but even still, it's going on so much lighter than it looks in the pan. And I'm really loading up my brush, but at some point I can't just keep putting on product. I need to start blending. If we can make this work though, this color combo is gonna be gorgeous. I'm going to start blending and hopefully we don't lose the color. Do you see how it's turning sort of teal? I'm gonna take a little bit of the pink to help blend it out. Okay, as I keep going, I'm getting a really nice purple, but I've lost a lot of that navy deeper tone. It's almost like if I want any of the color to remain, I can't blend it. I need to like pat it out. This side's doing a little bit better because I'm doing this patting technique. I'm just not gonna get as much of a diffused blend as I typically like. So when I started blending it out on this side, you can see where it's sort of patchy a bit. I am gonna attempt to darken this blue and try to get back to the navy we were at in the beginning. Okay, that's looking good, but I really do just have a ton of shadow packed onto the lid with very minimal blending now, so. Okay, from here, I'm gonna go into Brilliant, which is the metallic green. I am gonna use my finger. Now that is gorgeous. It's not like I can't make pretty looks with this. I just feel like I've got to work really hard to get the shadows to play nicely and get them looking blended and not messy or patchy. I think now, after all of this shade layering, we're finally close to the blue that I actually see in the palette in terms of this outer corner shade, and I'm loving it. Just took a while to get there. I think I'm gonna go into Tiara, which is this metallic sort of yellow champagne-y gold. See, with a brush, these metallics just go on looking like sparkles without a lot of actual pigment behind them. It's just hard to get into this inner corner area with a finger. Like, I don't know what to do here. On this side, I have a better vantage point, so I'm getting a little bit more intensity. I'm not a big fan of how this shade is applying, to be honest. I'm gonna use Family Jewels on my lower lash line. Yeah, this is a color that I do have a little bit of trouble with. It's so vibrant in the pan, but it comes off with a really heavy green undertone when applied. See, does that not look green? Almost looks like the green that I have on my lid. It's really the mattes in this palette, I think, that I have the most issues with, because most of the shimmers, maybe with the exception of Tiara, they're really pretty, and especially with the finger, they go on almost completely opaque with a lot of intensity, but it's the mattes and blending them out and blending everything together, that's where things get touchy. But what do you think? After seeing how this Milani palette applies and works together, should I keep it? Is it worth the work? Next up, we have a liquid eyeliner that some days I absolutely love and it goes on so beautifully and easily, and other days I'm like, what is happening? This is the Hard Candy Stroke of Gorgeous liquid eyeliner. I love the fact that this has a brush tip. It's very, very precise. Let's just go right in. It is a very like thin liquid that I found can bleed a little bit. It's also something that I struggle with. Usually overshadow, it's not that bad. I'm kind of losing the line in the shadow. It's not going on as opaque. I do love the sharpness of it to create that wing. It's super precise. I'll give it that. I'm not a huge fan of the shiny finish either. I do prefer a matte liner. I'm having a little bit of issue with it applying kind of sheer today. Sheer and a bit streaky. I feel like this liner sort of embodies all of these products and the theme of this video, where it's just like mediocre. It's like just okay, because the end result doesn't end up looking bad. I just don't think it's worth the time and the effort to get it to look like that. So let me know, keep or declutter. Moving on, we have the Physicians Formula Butter Blowout Mascara. So this is a relatively new release. They just launched their whole new butter collection earlier this year. And for a mascara with blowout in the name, I was expected to be blown away. The first few times, I felt like the formula sort of just weighed down my lashes. I'm really gonna try to get the lash look that I like. And sometimes with mascaras, it does take a few times, and it takes it sort of getting exposed to air to really hit that sweet spot of the formula. That's sort of what I was hoping would happen. There are some mascaras that just get better after they've been opened for a bit, but especially with a eyeshadow look like this, I need some dramatic lashes. Oh yeah, my other problem with this was that it's so heavily fragranced. I don't need fragrance in my mascara. It's definitely dried out a bit, and I am liking it better than the first few times. I'm not seeing like a ton of much going on, but I can already tell you that this is better. So, what does that say about it? Definitely some flaking as I build this mascara up. I think my left eye actually came out pretty well. Definitely eons better than the first couple times I used this. It's still just like not my favorite mascara ever. I would feel comfortable reaching for this on a day where I'm not necessarily looking for a lot of drama. This could be more of an everyday mascara just for a little bit of definition. I think it was just with the name, maybe I was thrown off with my expectations, because it's not awful. I would have liked to see a little bit more length and separation. This brush isn't really doing a lot for separating my lashes. I am seeing volume though, and I wish it was a little bit more buildable. But what do you think of the Physicians Formula Butter Blowout Mascara, and have you tried this? Let me know. Next up is a blush that I've mentioned I have mixed feelings about. I love the color. I just can't get a lot of it onto my face. This is the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Between the Sheets. Such a beautiful neutral mauve. I hardly use this because I feel like it just doesn't have enough pigment, or I have to build it up so much. Again, another product where I feel like I have to do a lot to get it to work for me. So I'm going in with a denser brush this time. This is the Real Techniques sculpting brush, and see if we can pick up more of that color. Okay, I'm really gonna like mash it into my skin. Like, come on. Super Shock Cheek? I'm not shocked. Okay, look at how hard I'm going in. That's gotta have a lot of color on it, right? Okay, there we go, a little bit. I had to murder the pan though. Does anybody else have this issue with Colourpop blushes? Because this is probably the third Colourpop blush, or one of 3 that I've tried, where it's hard for me to get the color on my face, onto a brush and on my face. I do love how that's looking, and this is how it goes. Such a pretty color. It goes straight in the drawer, and then I hardly use it. This is our third Milani product that's going to be in this video. This is the Milani Strobe Light Liquid Highlighter. So this is a very, very glittery highlight, and it's one that I definitely wouldn't categorize as an everyday highlight, and I've kept it for things like festivals and concerts that never ended up happening ever again. It's just not my cup of tea for like normal wear, although since we've got such a bold look going on today, I think it might actually complement it. So I'm gonna start slow on my cheekbones. See, it kind of just reminds me a little bit of a festival highlight. Very glitter forward, not so much pigment or glowy. It's pretty though, like it makes a really nice golden shimmery impact. I remembered it being a little bit chunkier, and it's not, so at least there's that. The glitter is noticeable, but it's not huge. I'm trying to make it look a little bit more everyday, because that's how I'm gonna convince myself to keep it. What I do like about this product though is because you don't need so much and it already creates a really beautiful impact, you can use this, you know, on the collarbones or as sort of like a body highlighter or body glitter, but then I never use it. So it's like, I'm gonna quickly line my lips because the last product I'm putting to the test is a lip gloss, and I just wanna add a little bit of shape. This next product may come as a surprise as far as it being included in this group of products, because I actually really love how this gloss looks on me, but every time I wear it, I notice something happening where I'm like, should I be putting this on my face? This is the Essence Shine 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 Lip Gloss. Super affordable. I think they're like $3, but I've started to notice that when I put these on, I kind of get a tingly feeling in my throat. And let me be very clear, that's probably a personal reaction, but either way, if that is a reaction that this is causing, I probably shouldn't be using them. I will say about these lip glosses, which I feel like is the reason why I'm having this reaction, they are heavily fragranced, like heavily. It's a little much. That's one downside to it, but I love the applicator. I love the formula. Ooh, this was like a perfect shade combo. Hello. Oh, this is the shade Happiness in a Bottle. And they have them where they're kind of like a creamy finish like this, or shimmery. It's really, really comfortable on the lips. Beautiful shine. Okay, I'm just gonna wait here for a few seconds to see if I start having a sore throat. Every time I inhale, I can feel a tickle, like more and more. So it must be the fragrance, right? It's coming on. It's coming on strong. Now, again, I'm totally not knocking this product at all. If you're not sensitive to fragrance, you probably won't have this issue. Or if you don't have allergies, you know, it's something that I've been ignoring. I probably should declutter these if they're gonna give me an allergic reaction. Do you see what I mean about this drugstore makeup? It's like everything came together really nicely, but I'm still on the fence about a lot of these products. Hopefully you can see why. If you were me, what would you keep and what would you declutter? Tell me in the comments below. Today's shout out goes to Isabelli. Thanks for being a member of the Slashed Squad. And join me over in this video next where I share 5 new drugstore dupes for high-end makeup. I'll see you over there. Bye.